Welcome back to the 365 Insights Hub, and today's session is more sort of related to Shopify integration with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. So in this session, it's mainly going to be helpful for the people who are in pre-sales, giving demonstrations to the upcoming prospects, to the consultants even who are configuring this integration for the existing clients as well. So we're going to touch both the bases, and firstly, I'm going to start off with how we can set up a Shopify store that is going to be integrated with Business Central as part of these, you can say, demonstrations for the prospects and as part of initial testing with their existing customers. We can have so that they can have a brief overview of how this is going to work out. So I'm up over here over this side, which is shopify.com/pk/partners, which is specifically for partners who are going to build up certain apps or applications for their clients. So since for demonstrations, this is the preferred approach. Since getting a free trial for demonstrations, it's like a 30 days free trial. So maybe this is a long-lasting process. Maybe you can create up a partner account and create up a store and link it to Business Central. So we can come up over this website and you can either become a partner, like sign up or log in if you do not have an account. But since I already have an account, so I'm logging in. And as I logged in, I already have a partner organization created by the name of MS Tech Solutions. If you do not have already, you'll be signing it up. And upon signing up, you'll be asked to fill up all the required information. That also includes partner organization. So you can put up any demo organization name that you'll be using for this integration. So I'm selecting my organization that I have created. And over here, I have multiple options up available over here. And and of course, you can select over the home that, okay, why are you creating this account? So I've selected this option of creating a client transfer store. It could be transfer development store or add a way to get paid. Okay. This is the basic setup, but you can ignore it anyways. And then you have like stores, and this is the store that you connect D365 Business Central with. So you can add up a store. I've already added up one store by the name of Business Central Integration. And you can have this link. You can just click on it and it will take you to the store, the actual store, which will be the interface for the customers when they'll be logging in, they'll be coming up for any purchases. So this would help us when we are actually planning up our sales order integration with Business Central, so we can see like how this is going to work out. And after that, like we have Business Central where we can come and where we can actually set up a shop by the name by any XYZ name for the demonstration. So I've set up a Shopify integration shop. There could be multiple shops set up within one environment, each linked to a different shop. But currently, as per my as part of the session, it's only one shop integration with one store in Shopify. So I'll just give a brief overview of how this integration works through shedding a light over what we are maintaining in each field, how that is going to work out. Okay, so this session is specifically an integration from Business Central to Shopify and nothing from Shopify to Business Central. But there are ways like I can explain like what are the specific details that we can get from Shopify or we can send to Shopify. But in today's session, it's all about linking Business Central with Shopify and sending up all the data from Business Central to Shopify. And by all the data, I mean like all the master data with its customer, with its item, not customer, sorry, but with its item or any master data, which includes item prices as well. But locations we're going to get from Shopify, and then we have other details as well, other mapping as well. So I'm into my Shopify integration card where the major details and the major part is Shopify admin URL. So the Shopify admin URL is basically the URL of your store that it's going to get connected to. Now all your orders that are passed through this specific URL would be integrated with within the Business Central. And secondly, we have this enable boolean that says, okay, that this integration is enabled, and then this integration, once you enable everything, it will pass on these updated API version before and Shopify admin API version. So it has certain keys stored up within this instance, which would be used for fetching up the orders within Business Central through job, which I'm going to explain in a while. And then we have like logging mode. This is the logging mode. We can prefer like, okay, when do we log the transactions in BC? What specifically we need to log? Whether it's just errors, whether everything needs to be logged in, whether all the transactions are processed or not, they aren't supposed to be logged in. So we need to select all for that. And then if we do not need to log anything, we can select just disable. Then we have this currency code on the very left side. Okay, this currency code needs to be selected if your Shopify store currency is different from the general ledger currency in BC. So you can just select it, and then you must make sure that exchange rates are configured as well so that you do not get up into errors. Okay, for demonstrations, if you're demonstrating the integration with Shopify, how item master is integrated with Shopify. Now, this matters only if your entire master is being maintained within Business Central, and then you need to get everything interlinked and synced between Shopify and Business Central. But if your core system is, if your core data is maintained over Shopify, so in that case, the syncing item needs to be from Shopify and not to Shopify. Then we have like auto create unknown items. So auto create unknown items is like when we are synchronizing the data from Shopify. If the items are not matched up or if the items are not known, then it automatically creates new item for those. So this I'm going to skip it. And of course, Shopify can update items as well, because both of these along with item template code, all these three will work out only if your integration is from Shopify to Business Central. Now, Shopify can update item is just like, okay, if any changes in the items are done within Shopify, then in VC also those changes would reflect. But since it's like to Shopify, then we're not going to select it. But we can select can update Shopify products, which means that, okay, if any changes are being made within Business Central, then of course we need to make the certain changes to the items in Shopify as well. Then we have like sync text item images, which if we want, we can do it to Shopify or from Shopify. If this entire configuration is configured to get the items from VC and send it to Shopify, then everything needs to be to Shopify. Then if we want to sync extended text, marketing text, and attributes, we can of course do that. Then SKU mapping is again based on item number, variant. So we have a list, a predefined list. So okay, with if, and now this is also you can say a mapping for when we are syncing the items from Shopify to Business Central. Now this is again a different part which we'll be covering in some other session, but it means that, okay, if any item we are getting from from Shopify, then in BC those would be mapped as items. So independent individual items would be created for everything that we are getting from Shopify, whether they are variants or different items, whether they are items themselves. But we'll be exploring them again in a different lecture session. I mean, like then we have like inventory track. Okay, if this is enabled, then whatever locations we have, whatever items we have, so we tag the inventory against those items in Shopify as well. So let's say you have inventory of 5 available for a certain share. So when you're integrating or syncing that item in Shopify, then of course Shopify as well, that item inventory would be synced, and then maybe you have a view like this. Okay, this inventory is available. If it is not, it would be like sold out. If it is, yes, the user can come up and purchase, add to cart any of the shares they want to. Then we have like status for created products. Okay, whatever the products that are created in Shopify, what would be the status? Would they be active or would they be in the status of draft? Okay. Now, if the items are removed from Business Central or they're blocked, then what is going to happen to those items in Shopify? Either the status of those items is going to be archived or whether they're going to the status is going to be set to draft. And then we have like saying product and variant meta fields. That is also a different topic. So it's like a huge sort of thing all in one, the Shopify integration. So we're just going to deep dive into like what necessary actions do we need to take in order to test a simple Shopify orders integration. And then of course there are different releases, different features are available. So we'll be going through them in certain different sessions. Then we have like price synchronization. So this price synchronization, we have more options available up over here, but currently I've just synced in the prices with the products and nothing else, which includes customer price group, customer discount group as well, and allow line discount as well. So I'm just skipping this part. Then we have customer synchronization as well. That okay, if you want to create customers as well. But currently I'm going to skip this part as well since it's more sort of related to items, and then of course how the contacts would be created and then how the Shopify orders are going to be created. Then we have like auto synchronization and processing, which is the main part up over here. So I've just defined the shipping charges account since I've configured my store up in that manner, and I'm going to show you my store configuration as well. And then auto create sales order. Once any order we have received over the Shopify store, are they going to be automatically created? And then we have a job against that as well. I'll show you that as well. Then we have Shopify order number on document line. So do we need to store that up as well? And if you want to sync the posted invoice, then we can also enable this. But this is the generic major functionality which I have defined over that needs to be done. Then if I go into the related section, you can see locations. Okay. Now there's a possibility that okay, I have certain locations up available within my Shopify store, and in order to make sure that I map those locations well in BC, that okay, if this is the location from for my order, then this location is going to be mapped with this location within BC. So this is the mapping table where we can define, okay, this is the name of the shop within Shopify. These are the locations, which is main warehouse, Chicago warehouse. And then we have like, okay, the default location code of Business Central. This is the mapping that we have defined up over here. And then we have like stock calculation, which I've set up as only free inventory, which is not reserved, that needs to be integrated. And then I've set up one of the stores as my primary store. And then we also do have like default product location, like which one is the default product location. I currently haven't set it up. And then also we have like, is this fulfillment service? Like, is this warehouse the fulfillment service? And of course, I selected this. Then we have like payment terms as well. Product shipment method mapping as well. So let's say if you have like certain shipment methods available within your Shopify store, it could be standard, it could be next day. So when I'm creating an order, you'll see these two options in front of the user. And then I've mapped up, okay, if this shipment standard is selected, so this would be my shipment method code within Business Central. So I'm mapping it up over here. And this would be the charge account for delivery or transportation, whatever it is. It would be the charge account, whether it's GL account items. So this is the mapping I've defined, and what would be the respective type number. And then like if there is any shipment agent code. Okay. So this is about like a brief overview of you can of course map payment terms, but that is again a different part. Then if I go back to my Shopify store to show you like, okay, that. Okay. Now we are up over here, and this is my Shopify store where I can see my products, my orders that I have received, my customer data, marketing, discounts, and everything. And right at the bottom, I have settings where I can define the general settings, my customer account settings, and of course my locations. So I'll go into the general part and I'll show you like how this integration is going to work here. Okay. So you can select the major settings. So the very first one is auto processing. I can highlight which we need that are automatically by default enabled, and then we need to disable those if we need to make this work out. Okay. One specific setting is of auto processing. So by default, we have this automatically archive the order selected. Okay, what it does, okay, if an order has been archived within Shopify and that order is archived based upon the fulfillment, upon the payment, or when the items have been refunded. So if an order has been archived into Shopify, what happens is those specific orders do not integrate with Business Central. So if they're automatically archived, if you're automatically archiving the order within Shopify, and let's assume the order is archived due to the fulfillment status and or payment status, then in Business Central it won't reflect. So make sure that you turn off this setting, and then we have other settings available up over here in the generic tab, which we can just define. Okay, what would be backup region, what would be the default weight unit, and the time zone, which does not matter that much. And then we have like within the payment section, I have activated one of my payments for which is Bogus Gateway, but of course you can activate other test payment provider as well. So this one is the most convenient one when we are testing up in the development, so it does not affect anything. But this is a test payment provider that Shopify has provided for enablement during the testing of this integration. So I've added the Bogus Gateway, but you can of course manage it and add certain others or deactivate this as well. Okay. Now you're also given these are the credit card numbers when you're checking out to check this integration out, how this is going to work out. So when you're placing an order by yourself and you're going to integrate with Business Central, so you're going to use these codes in place of the card numbers at the time of checking out. Okay. Now these are the three, which is 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to show you how we're going to use it. So one, it will be used for simulating an approved transaction. Second would be for a declined transaction, and third would be for a gateway failure. So if you want, okay, to test all of these 3 sections. But of course, today's session, we're just going to focus on this first code, which is to simulate an approved transaction. And then we're going to see like how does that integrate with Business Central. Okay. Then of course, you can change the provider and deactivate or use another if you want to. Then at the checkout, we have certain other details as well. Now we have this customer contact method, and we can define that, okay, at the time of checkout, what customers are required to provide, which includes a phone number or an email. Okay, that we are going to define up over here, like what we are going to require, which is like, okay, we need to require full name, which includes the option, okay, require both full first and last name, or just the last name and then the company. And this contact method is like, okay, if the customer is checking out, how that notification is going to be received to the customer, whether it's a phone number or an email. Okay. And then, okay, if we are going to show a link to the customers where they can track up their orders with the shop. Then we can have these marketing options, which are which you can define, of course. But the most important part up over here is of tipping. So you can present this tipping at the time of checkout, and that too can be linked with Business Central. So this is about like the major configurations and how we are going to set it up. And then of course the last one, which is location, I showed you like, okay, how those locations are integrated with Business Central. So you can of course come up and add applications. Currently I'm not adding it up, but I can show you like, okay, if I've added up a location, I can select the fulfillment type, okay, that this location can be used for the fulfillment. If this is active or not, we can select that part as well. So this is just a quick overview, and then you can of course view the inventory. But currently this session is all about how we are integrating data. So you can add as many locations as you want here. You can make them active and then sync it to Shopify. And then of course you can set up your default location up over here and change it anytime. Okay. Then we have like point of sale as well, that would be integrated with Shopify, but that we are currently just skipping it up. Now, once all your all these configurations are done within Shopify and within Business Central, whatever I showed you, then of course you can come. Okay, let's first have a look at the products, like how much products do I have and what happens upon syncing of an item, since orders are going to be made up within Business Central. But we are first going to check out this product integration. Okay. Now these are the products that we have within the Shopify shop, which is Amsterdam lamp, and then we have chairs, and then you can also see like what we have in inventory and what is out of stock. So we can come up over here and integrate the Shopify products. Okay, for adding up Shopify products, you can always come up and add items up over here. You can select the shop code. If you have multiple shops, you can select the shop code and then the item that you want to integrate. So let's say if there's a conference bundle, and okay, now you have options. If you want to sync images and sync inventory, if your inventory setup is enabled over the Business Central shop, then of course this will be enabled for you, and then you can buy or will enable or disable it. If inventory tracking is not enabled at over your Shopify shop, then of course this will be grayed out and you won't be able to enable it. Now since that is enabled for my shop, I can of course enable it and integrate it with my Shopify shop. Now once it is integrated, you can of course see the info log, and of course you'll see the status, which is active. So if I go back to my shop and if I go back to my product, so you can see conference bundle 1.8 integrated, and I do not have any inventory for that specific product. Now if I go onto this user site, which of course through your partner account, you can just click on this link and you'll be landing up over the user interface, where the user can come up, add your products to the cart and check out. So since Paris gesture is available and is within the stock, okay, let me just refresh this address, and then the address, the shipment method, as I showed you, like we are going to map it within Business Central. So currently I'm selected standard, and we can also set up the shipment method in Shopify, that okay, if the standard is there, then what would be the shipment cost, or the next day, or we can add a custom shipment methods as well, and we can add the cost associated with that as well. Now we have payment, and we can select the required card number, which would be either 1, 2, or 3 for the payment test type as focus. And the ship, and we also do have like the tips available. So I'm just currently selecting none, and I'll make sure that my above information is up there. Okay, so now I'll select go forward with the payment method and proceed with the payment. Okay, let's just select this. And of course, for American Express, you need to select the CVV code or the security code of 4 digits. But if you're using any other, then it could be 3 digits as well. Okay, once the order has been placed, you can drag that order back up over in the Shopify as well. Like, okay, how many orders do you have? What are the status of the order? And then, of course, we have in Business Central a job queue for this Shopify orders. So, which is by the report ID of 30104. Okay, now I'm just going to run this, and we can see the last order that we did integrated is up within Business Central. And then of course you can create a new customer out of this this customer that we have received from Shopify. You can cancel the order, you can create a sales document, and then of course we have like fulfillment, tax lines, and sales order if you want to create a sales order out of it. Then we can move forward with the process of converting it into a sales order and the necessary actions. So this is it about today's session, and then we'll be having a part 2 of the Shopify integration where we'll be looking into the other aspects of this integration as well. So thank you for your time. Hope it helps.